On this episode of the Mad Rush podcast.
But I would say the week of rush, it is time to be the most positive person on the face of the earth. So they're their truth sayer. They're there helping them to be aware of perhaps things that they're not. That now is really the time to only be positive. I don't care if you have to lock yourself in the closet with a bottle of wine, call your best friend, say all the horrible things that you think could happen, and then button it down.
Welcome to the Mad Rush podcast. I'm Trisha Addicks, the original Sorority Rush consultant. While the stories I have to share are nothing short of astonishing, this podcast goes beyond the wild client tales and sorority life. I'll be engaging with fascinating guests from both within and outside the Greek world, uncovering the surprising connections that bind us all together. Join me for a journey that's as entertaining as it is enlightening. Welcome to Mad Rush. Okay, y'all. So for July, I am leaning deep into rush preparation. And my guests this month include 3 people you're going to want to hear from. They are all, you guessed it, Chi Omegas. So you're going to get real-time advice from my sisters. Okay, so today I have a repeat guest, Mel Hunkapiller, who you heard from months ago. And Mel is my very dear friend and is a personal branding expert. Thank you so much for being here again, Mel.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
So last time we talked a lot about personal branding, and this time, this episode is for you, parents of girls going through rush. You're going to find out what you can expect and how you can prepare, because it is crucial that you as parents do everything in your power not to put your expectations on your child. This is something I see all the time, and I'll get into some of that, but your daughter is going to need your support only. So I want to share with you some questions I've recently fielded and give you some advice so that you can begin to manage your expectations, and Mel is going to do the same. So Mel is going to ask me a couple questions, and she's going to chime in on my answers if you have comments, Mel, and let's just get into it.
All right, let's do it. And I think we both remember the time as well. So I think this is all going to be, as you said, for the moms and the dads out there. But say first one, how should parents support their daughters if, I think there are some worst case scenarios in our mom minds that happen at times. So how would a parent support their daughter if by some, chance they're cut after the first round?
You mean cut out or cut just from?
Just cut from their favorite places.
So it's really important, and you can chime in here too, Mel, but it is really important that you are the safe space here and that you're just supporting her. You're not judging her. I've heard mothers, and I know we talked about this before, Mel, I've heard mothers who are like, well, what did you do? It's a little bit different because now a lot of the first rounds are virtual. Mm-hmm. So that people get blindsided after they're cut, after not even visiting the house. And that is something a parent needs to remind their daughter that it is not personal and it is not something that they did. Just support them, tell them it's going to be okay, and help them realize that they need to look forward, not back. That's a big thing, because if you're stuck on things that you don't have, then it's hard to move forward with what you do. And so a parent's job during this is to help them realize that it is their only option is to move forward.
Yeah. And, in our past episode, I know we talked about the truth sayer. And I think as parents and moms, it's so important, everything leading up to it, right? Help awareness, help all this. But I would say the week of rush, it is time to be the most positive person on the face of the earth and not, I know my mom would so what did you say? Did you wear that? It was always the little bit of doubt. And so I think it's hugely important as well that for this week, as you said, moving forward. So they're their truth sayer. They're helping them to be aware of perhaps things that they're not, that now is really the time to only be positive. I don't care if you have to lock yourself in the closet with a bottle of wine, call your best friend, say all the horrible things that you think could happen, and then button it down.
Right.
So those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, and that is really good. So one thing that we talk about with our clients is for them to assemble a support squad before they go to rush. And the support squad for our clients, and I'll talk about parents in a second, the support squad is someone who is not going through rush. It is someone, or it can be people who know you from before college and can assure you that you still have worth and you still are great regardless of what happens during rush. They've known you from before. Moms, dads, same thing. Don't have your support squad be another group of women or another woman whose daughter is going through rush, because the comparison game gets really ugly. Even if it's your best friend, you're still going to compare your daughter's experience with her daughter's experience. And so you just don't do it. You just talk to your best friend and you say, you know what? This week we're just not going to talk, and agree to that ahead of time, and then set up your support squad. And your support squad should be someone whose daughter is not going through rush, someone who knows your daughter well, someone who won't judge you, because you're going to have thoughts. I mean, no matter what, the best mother-daughter relationship can be strained during this time. So you don't want it to be. It can be strained during preparation, which like you're talking about, the truth sayer, that's your job to prepare and say, okay, that maybe let's find a different outfit for that day or whatever. But it is not your job during rush to say, well, I told you not to wear that outfit, or whatever it is. Like Mel said, it is your job to support and set up your daughter and set up your support before, so that you aren't surrounding yourself by people whose daughters are going through rush. That is a recipe for disaster. I had a client once who went to one of her tennis lunches and they were all going through rush, their daughters, and they're all talking, well, my daughter has this left and my daughter has this left. And one of them, their daughter was not having a great rush in the beginning and she was devastated. And I was like, why did you go to that lunch? And that leads me to also stay off the freaking Facebook groups, especially this week. Do not subject yourself to that. Okay. Next question, please, Mel.
You got it. What about if you are a legacy, and is your daughter automatically invited back to second round or first round, or how does that work these days?
So it used to be that legacies got a courtesy invite back after the first round. And then if you made it first, so rush is first, second, third, pref, and then bid day. And it used to be that if you were, so let's say my daughter or your daughter, which neither one of us have a daughter, was going through rush, they would automatically get invited back to Chi Omega. And or if they made it all the way to prefs with Chi Omega, they would be automatically guaranteed a bid. So the number of people going through rush these days make that an impossible reality. And that is also a really hard pill for a lot of moms to swallow. They're like, I mean, I've seen it time and time and time and time again. They are blindsided and really mad. They've given money to their sorority. They're active alums. I've even had someone who was an advisor for a sorority and her daughter was cut. You just can't. So there was one school where there were 177 legacies of this one sorority going through one year. So do the math. If the pledge class is, let's just say, even 100, if they wanted to give preference to legacies, they wouldn't have been able to. So legacies don't matter. Do not go in, send your daughter to college and think that because you were a Chi Omega at the University of Georgia, like we were, both Mel and I were, that your daughter is going to get invited back automatically. It's not going to happen. It's still up to her to have prepared, and then you're just relying on the numbers. So It's not a thing, not a thing anymore.
But it used to be, correct? So people are not cuckoo for thinking that back in the day that did happen.
Right. No, absolutely. That used to be that if you got, and some places it still is true that if you get to pref round, you're automatically guaranteed a bid from that sorority. But that's not, you can't count on that. It's across the board. You know, at the end of the day, you're relying on computers and you're relying on numbers and you're relying on people who are operating on very little sleep. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but nothing is guaranteed. And especially if you hear that, okay, if they pref, they definitely get a bid if they're a legacy, just put that out of your mind. You have to only do what you can control, which is how you act during rush, how you present yourself, and do not rely on legacy. Even if your grandmother, mother, aunt, sister, whatever, the only time that this is pretty much a guarantee is if you have an in-house sister, meaning if you have a sister who is at the sorority at your school. I have seen people who've had, let's say, Chi Omega again, their sister was a Chi Omega at Clemson and they're going through rush at Georgia. That an active Chi Omega at Clemson, that is not guaranteed. But pretty much you can rely on if you have an in-house sister that you are going to get invited back. And if not, then you got some bigger problems, my friend.
What if, because I'm thinking about, right, how parents can best support their kiddo this week. Let's say they're cut by everyone but one, right? Like it's a drastic, it's not just a, hey, I didn't get invited back to one. Like it's where they really were blindsided a little bit by getting cut by their very favorites. And I guess there's two questions. So what if in their mind where they thought they wanted, they're cut from those, but they still have some left? And then let's also answer the question, what if there's just one left, right?
Okay, both of those things I have seen a lot. And again, this is not personal usually, especially if you are cut from all but one. That means that you're probably didn't have the social media presence, or you didn't know anybody, you're coming from out of state. There could be a myriad of reasons. But again, no name blame. I mean, what am I trying to say? Game blame, name blame, no blaming, whatever. Anyway, there are two things. One, as a parent, your job is to make them understand that they have to give that one a fair shot. And the same thing, a PNM needs to make sure that they give that one a fair shot. And if you do that, if you give a fair shot to that one, and you are looking at the people on the lawn with you at the party, and you just cannot see yourself there. And that happens sometimes, but if you give it a fair shot, it doesn't happen as much as you might think. If you cannot see yourself being there, it is in your best interest to drop out of rush and go through continuous open bidding, which is COB. And that continuous open bidding is, you can participate in it if you have not accepted a bid. So that's why I say you should drop out of rush at that point, because if you decide that you want to give it a shot, but you really, really in your heart of hearts know that you're going to be miserable. And there's a big caveat to this. If if you're not sure, you should give it a fair shot, because 100 times out of 100, if you give it a fair shot and you don't have a real reason for hating that sorority and you give it a shot, 100 times out of 100 before you're initiated, you will have found your people. So that said, if you are 100% sure you cannot find your people, you drop out so that you can participate in continuous open bidding. And that is the process. It varies from school to school, but that is the process where they can give out bids after bid day throughout the year if their chapter total number changes and they have less than the number of girls that they can have. Does that make sense?
It does. How often does that happen? I mean, is that a pretty normal thing for the continuous open bidding?
Open bid?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the school and it depends on the year, but there are sometimes, and I'm thinking of one school in particular last year, where the numbers got really screwed up. And so at the end of the week, so that what they did was they cut a lot of girls or released a lot of girls really early in the week. And then it turned out that the numbers got very skewed. So there were a lot of sororities that did not make quota. And so, which quota is the number of people that are on the lawn or allowed to be on the lawn at the end of the week on bid day. And so there were a bunch of sororities that it all kind of got jacked up. So they had a bunch of extra bids to give out. But then some years they have none. So, and it really depends on the sorority. So it's a case by case, but just knowing that that's an option and talking to, if you're, and it's all Greek to me, client, we coach you through this, but if you're not, then talk to your Pi Chi or they're called Pi Chi, Rho Chi, Gamma Chi, Rush counselor. It is your group leader who has disaffiliated from their sorority for the week to help guide you through Rush. And all schools have those. They're just called different things at every school.
And are they introduced to them at the beginning of Rush, or is that someone, let's just say, right, daughter's upset, would they know who their Rush counselor or advisor is?
Yes. That's what they do is right at orientation, Rush orientation, they will get their Rush group. And that leader will be introduced to them at that time. They'll have a group chat or a group me, and they will go through Rush together as a group. I mean, not the same parties at the same time, but they will all have one counselor, leader, whatever you call it.
Well, and I think that's a great thing for parents to know, because there is someone for their daughter to contact. And I think in the calm of the storm, that's not a bad question.
I think you mean the eye of the storm.
Oh, what did I say?
So y'all, you have to know that Mel and I mean, we make up words, or she makes up words. Not as we talked about it last time you were on this.
Yeah.
So she means the eye of the storm when you're in the eye of the storm.
What did I say?
The calm of the storm.
Oh, God. Yeah. The calm of the storm is what we want. Yeah. The eye of the storm.
Yes. But it is good to know. And that is the person that should be giving your daughter real-time advice, not you, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm talking about parents, not you, Mel.
That's why I'm asking you the questions.
Yeah.
So there is someone that should be in your daughter's support group, right?
Right. Yes.
As someone. It's not someone the parents can contact, though, correct?
No, correct. And I will say that the people who are doing this have the very best intentions. They're great at what they do, but they also have a lot of people in their group. So it could be one person has 20 people in their group. So if the calm of the storm during the week happens at the same time for everybody, it's very hard for them to be able to give support to all of those people. So that's where your personal assembled support squad comes in. And you can call your mom crying, but the mom, when your daughter calls you, You are not giving her advice. You're supporting her. You're saying, who in your support network can you call? And what can we do to help you move forward in a positive way?
Absolutely. I get to hear stories sometimes. Can you share? Because I'm always fascinated. I think relinquishing control is hard for a lot of parents, right?
Oh, Lord, yes. Welcome to my world.
Most of the girls are freshmen, not all, but some. And I think it's a lesson in that for all of it. I mean, I'm going to have a senior in high school, and I'm already realizing, right, I need to be supportive and not try to control it. What is the craziest story of a parent that just went bananas and maybe you had a hard time controlling them?
Oh, Lord. Okay, you parents out here, do not do this. I've got a couple. One is for the dads out there. And I'm last week at the beach, I met this woman and her husband, and she was like, honey, you've got to hear what this woman does, talking about me. And, a lot of people have no idea what the hell a rush consultant is. But so I said, let me just tell you something right now. Your husband is not going to listen or care. And he was literally like looking around. I mean, he's a very nice guy, but he was looking around. I was like, you don't really care what I do you? And he's like, absolutely not. Well, so this story is for the dads. So you guys have no idea what your daughter is about to go through. And that is across the board. Usually the guys are like, do, and they are letting the wife handle it. They're not really interested. There are some exceptions. I said across the board, but I didn't really mean it. I'm thinking of one guy in particular. I never even met his wife, but he and I chatted all the time. So, but he's an anomaly. Anyway, so this one time I had worked with my client and her mother, and I knew him very well at this point. And we had talked, throughout the summer. We had prepared. She was ready to go, whatever. But both the mom and the daughter knew she was going to be cut from sororities. It's just, that's something that everybody should be aware of. You're going to get cut, and you're going to have to make cuts because everyone only ends up with one, period. So however you get there, that's your journey. That's everybody's rush looks different. So that's a whole nother topic. Don't compare, whatever. But so this guy had completely oblivious. I don't even know that even if he knew his daughter had a rush consultant. So fast forward to round 2, and she only had, I guess, 8 out of a possible 12 left. And she had been dropped from a couple that she really liked, but we were able to positively move forward, after some work. Don't kid yourself. But I guess he woke up at like 2 a.m. and decided that this was a problem and that he needed to fix it. And so he called me at 2 a.m, which during rush, y'all, thank God y'all don't have my number, because during rush, I'm available. And my clients, my mentors are available 24/7 for our clients. But let me just tell you, he called me at 2 o'clock and he's like, what the hell happened? And he didn't say these words, but he did say that. But he's like, my perfect daughter who, she's beautiful, she's funny, she's all the things that she is. And all of us parents see that in our daughters. But he was like, what the hell? She was cut. So anyway, I had to talk him out of his tree from 2 until 4:30 in the morning. And I was trying to explain to him that his wife and his daughter knew this was going to happen. But the fact that he was just completely checked out, understandably. But yeah, that was nuts. And that was a very, very long night. And it was also the last year that I took clients myself. Like I no longer take clients who just deal directly with me. I don't have the bandwidth for it. And I also need sleep now that I'm old. Okay, so the other thing that sticks out in my mind is I had worked with this daughter and gotten to know her mom pretty well through the process throughout the summer. We built up this trust, and her daughter is going through Rush. And I didn't know this, but I didn't even know where her mom went to college or what sorority she was in, because this is not something that we talk about. So, because it doesn't really matter. Legacy doesn't matter. So anyway, her daughter gets cut from her sorority after the first round. And y'all, when I tell you, this woman went bananas on me. She called me an effing idiot. She called me up screaming at me. And she's like, she thought she was talking about how I was a fraud, how I shouldn't even have a business if I can't guarantee that someone can get into her flipping sorority. Called me every name in the book, screamed at me. And it's hard to rationalize with a feral cat, but she was just going off on me. And I was trying to explain to her that we never guaranteed that she was going to be in that sorority. I didn't even know she was a legacy at that sorority. No, and I wouldn't have done it anyway, even if I had known. Anyway, long story short, the girl had a great rush, landed where she's supposed to. She was president of the sorority eventually. But that mom, she did, after a couple weeks after she realized her daughter was in the right place, she sent me flowers and apologized. And I will always accept an apology. But yeah, don't get me in a dark alley with that person. I accepted it, but I remember I used to watch this show called The Hills. Or maybe it was The Hills, or I don't know, 90210. Anyway, Lauren said to her friend, I forgive you, and now I want to forget you. And so that is how I feel about this woman. But yeah, anyway, so just be kind. That's the moral of that story. But yeah, it was crazy. So
very, I bet, right? Well,
yes.
I think people think that because you're a rush consultant, it means it's a guaranteed outcome.
Right.
And it's going to be their journey. I'm sure many parents are used to using their influence, maybe throwing around some cash to make outcomes happen.
Ah, yeah.
In their children's lives. So can you give a quick do not warning and perhaps what could happen if so? Because whomever's listening to this can help warn the other parent not to do that.
Yes. So I won't get into details, but I have gotten several times after the fact, when there wasn't our client, someone reaching out to me offering to bribe or give a lot of money.
Let's just go ahead and say bribe. I like that. I was saying it in a different, like, influencing through compensation.
You can't do it. And you can't do it. I would never do that. I would never, I'm always like, yeah, what the hell are you thinking? No. But it wouldn't work. But if it did work, why would you want your daughter to get into a sorority that she didn't get into, and then be the girl that paid to get herself into a sorority?
Or even worse.
If it would work, it wouldn't, just FYI.
And if they tried it in the middle of rush, they could sink their chances.
Absolutely. And that's a great point, Mel. So y'all, don't start making calls in the middle of rush. I've had that happen before. So the grandmother, their granddaughter gets cut. They're calling all their friends. That happens a lot, that people try to do that. They're calling all their friends saying, you call your daughter, your granddaughter, or you call, whatever, start calling during rush. That ball is already rolling. You cannot fix it for them. That is a great point. I'm glad you brought it up. You can't fix it, people. You cannot fix it. You can support, but you can't fix it. And if you happen to have the richest, most powerful grandmother in the room, it's still not going to work. But if it happened to work, and I'm sure it has some time in the past, if you use all your power, influence, whatever, to get your granddaughter or whomever a bid, and it's not a good fit, they're still going to be miserable. And that's what we want. We want for our kids to be happy. We want them to find their people. we do not care if they're wearing a certain sorority on their shirt if they're happy. So y'all try to remember that and keep your wits about you. This, when your
Control
kids
yourselves.
control yourselves. Okay, so one of the I started going off on tangents, so I'm going to rein it back. And one of the reasons I asked Mel to be here today is so that she can share some of her advice. And as I mentioned, she is a personal branding expert. And we did, if you go back to old episodes, you can listen to her really good advice for girls going through Rush. So but I would like for you just to, while we're in this truth sayer era, this is before Rush,
Right.
What are some quick tips that you can give to moms so that they can share them with their daughters about presenting themselves or things not to do? Do you have anything that you can say directly to the moms?
I do. So again, before Rush, I think some things that they could do is, you curate outfits. Right. So many people do so much to prepare that just make sure. And I don't know if young people have to wear Spanx. I'm old. I have to wear Spanx. And I have to do many things that I wish I didn't have to. And I don't always practice wearing those shoes that I think are so cute that make my old feet look cute or make, things disappear. Practice. Make them wear it for a full day in a hot sun situation because having blisters, and I know T-Bird can speak to this, and I don't care what's in your Rush bag, you still have a big fat blister on your foot, or your Spanx completely rolled down, or you're grabbing at your crotch area because they're rolling up. Like whatever that might be, you don't want to get the outfit dirty, but wear the foundation garments, take them for a spin, right?
Yes, great idea.
Just those type things. And for social media, I know a lot of parents.
Wait, I have to interject.
Okay.
Y'all, no bra straps showing. I literally was somewhere the other day and I saw this girl with this very cute outfit on. That's why I noticed it, because I wanted to be able to wear it. But anyway, I wanted the outfit. I couldn't, even if I could wear it, whatever. Anyway, blah, blah. I saw her bra strap. So when she turned around, I was like, seriously, that takes away from the whole thing. So that, yeah.
A bra is not a fashion statement.
No, it is not.
We just I went with my son on a school trip to Europe tour thing. And there was a young lady, beautiful young girl. I don't know where she was from. Full on brassiere with the sweater completely down. And so I guess that someone thought that was a fashion statement. So please have your own style, but your own style should not include bra straps.
Exactly.
Right.
All right. Now, I heard you start, before I interrupted you. Hello, you're used to it. You're going to say something about social media for
social
the parents.
media. And I know everyone, right, for so long, but in my work, I'm a recruiter. And so I see, right. And just being, my son's on social media. So I keep a little bit of a watchful eye. And I'm still horrified. Brilliant, beautiful, very together with it girls have, I guess they're called Instagram handles, Big Gulp 245, so-and-so Tasha at night, so-and-so after hours. It's so not appropriate. And there are grown adults who do it as well. That's a whole different conversation. But, right, just think before you plaster. You may think you are smoking hot in that bathing suit, and you may be, but that doesn't mean it's appropriate to have a booty shot or, your bosoms. I know models can get away with it. Rush is not a cosmopolitan,
it's not. And I've had people reach out to me recently and say, well, I saw that because I always say modest is hottest, don't wear a bathing suit. And they're like, oh, I saw a group of girls, I saw a sorority girl in a bathing suit on Instagram. And I'm like, well, yeah, they've already achieved their goals. So just remember how you want to get to your goals. And as for parents, it's important that So I also get questions a lot about, we haven't let our daughter have Instagram, or we haven't let our daughter do social media. This is something that they can control how they are perceived. And if they do it in a tasteful, well curated way, meaning you're not trying to present something that you're not to the world, but if your goal is, if your daughter's goal is to get into a sorority, then give the sororities a chance to get to know her beforehand. So they're not going in completely unknown. And that is, when that happens, that is when it's, your odds of being cut from a lot go up.
You mentioned that earlier, if they had zero social media presence. So is that what you're saying, is you really need some presence?
Absolutely. And, within your comfort zone, but maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone. And I'm talking to the parents now. I know that it's a scary world out there, and I know that it's really hard to manage that. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I mean, I kind of am, but you're listening. So that's probably why you're listening. But it is important for your daughter to be known for things that she's interested in. And that's, so if she plays volleyball, put her volleyball picture, tell her to put her volleyball pictures up there with her friends, and so that they can get to know her interests and what makes her shine. And you have complete control over that.
And think about who even they follow.
Yeah.
I mean, they can just choose who they follow, and people can see that, right? Can't people? I think people can see who you're following.
Well, not if they're private, okay. but yeah, it is. And I would suggest that your Instagram remain private, and that way you can see who requests to follow you. That's also a really good thing. So if somebody in a sorority at your school starts to follow you, you follow them back, of course, and you can kind of have control over it that way. So I would keep it private, but having some sort of Instagram presence, that you can control is not being done to you. You are controlling it, and you are controlling what people see. It is not you creating a fake life for people to see. It's so that they can see what you're interested in, what makes you shine. And then you can sort of figure out where you might be a good fit after people have followed you and you've gotten to know them a little bit because you followed them back. Instagram is a good thing for Rush if it's done appropriately, if it's done well. So that's just my 2 cents.
And the other thing I wanted to touch on is and again, just I think from our experience, having been through eons back in the Stone Age, parents have to give up a lot of control. I think when their kids are going out into the world and going through Rush and these, but there are certain things you can control. And those are the things you need to concentrate on. And I think supporting your kiddo, as moms, we want the details. We ask the details, and we drive our kids crazy because we do. But maybe just change the conversation, change your vernacular. Instead of saying, well, what did they do? And what did you say? And how did they look when you said that? Start with, how'd you feel? How'd you feel when you were in this house? Did you feel comfortable? Were you at ease? And I think something we don't realize our power as parents is that our kids are going to follow whatever vibe we're putting out there. So if you come across as positive and you don't freak out when she says, my bra strap was showing and I fell and I face planted at the front of the house, don't feed it. Don't feed the animals. Don't feed the doomsday. Because I think the daughters will lay it out there to see if they should freak out.
Yes, that's good advice.
They lay bait out there for us, right? To say, oh, well, what do you think about this? And I think if you're like, oh, I think relying upon vocabulary and language that does nothing but say, look, I know you. I trust you. I trust that is not how that was perceived, right? You're a lovely, wonderful person, and really concentrate on how they felt. Give them some control over what happens in the day. How did you feel? Did you feel a connection? Did you see yourself being friends with these girls? I think there's so much control from a parent's perspective in that support role and doing that, and to just think about it before the week happens. Like I said, lock yourself in a closet, drink your bottle of wine, talk to your best friend, come up with 80 worst case scenarios, spit them out, and then be done. And don't let them see you crack.
Yes, that is the best advice ever. And, my goal for this episode, which is something I'm doing more now, my goal was to try to prepare the parents. It's going to be a rough week for some of you, a lot of you. I could sit here for the next 20 days and tell you stories, but of parents who handle things incorrectly or handle things that make it so much worse. Remember, your job is to support, be positive, let your child know that you believe in them. And this is also not your rush. So you have to relinquish some of that control and be supportive. So I don't know, normally I do a hashtag observation of the day at the end, but that's kind of mine. Do you have a hashtag observation of the day?
I'm going to go back to the Instagram handles. Don't do it. No big gulp at night. None of that. Because no matter how carefully you've curated your social media, if you have that, there's going to be some judgment and some perceptions immediately that you don't want.
Absolutely. That's a good one. So if someone wants to find you and get some more of your advice, where can they find you?
I'd say Instagram. M Hunkapiller is the best way for me to see that. And I appreciate it. This has been fun.
Yes. And for you guys who normally listen, thank you very much. I normally have a timeout with Trisha that's a little more rush specific at the end of this episode, each episode. But for July, I am not doing that because we're diving deep into the preparing. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Mel. Mel and I, y'all talk pretty much every day, and we didn't talk today. So this is the conversation we would have had.
Oh yeah.
If we were on the phone.
And if you could quit going on vacation, that would be fantastic.
Yes, says the Europe traveler.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so because I surround myself with rock stars and because I'm leaning into rush prep for these July episodes, I'm not going to do timeout with Trisha because that is rush prep. So anyway, the whole episode was rush prep. So thank you for listening. In the meantime, check out my Instagram at Rush with Confidence for more tips. We're leaning into the preparing because it's almost go time. See you next week. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Mad Rush Podcast. If you are enjoying this podcast, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. For additional Rush tips, updates, and more, please follow me on Instagram at Rush with Confidence. If you would like to reach out to us or for more information, please email info@madrushpod.com. This podcast is produced by Collier Landry and Don't Touch My Radio. Copyright Trisha Addicks.